How are you?
Well, Madam.
Hi, John from Pittsburgh. How are you?
Well, Madam Vice President, from where? California, Washington, everywhere. Nice to see you.
I'm in Washington, D.C. today. Thank you.
Well,
good to see you.
It's great to see you again. Thank you for doing this with me. I have about 5 questions from folks in Pittsburgh, but I want to ask you a question, first of all, given what's happened in the Mideast right now. How far would the U.S. government go to protect the state of Israel? U.S. troops on air, in the air, on sea, or on land?
Do we really want to know?
So let me start by saying that today I was with the president in the Situation Room for several hours, along with members of our national security team. And I'm pleased to report that based on everything we know as of this moment, our position, which is to support Israel in its right to defend itself, and Israel's ability to defend itself today was quite successful. And
I mean, we did give them the Iron Dome. We basically built that for them. So it better freaking work. I mean, taxpayer dollars, okay? It better work.
We must all agree that it is in the best interest of the United States, much less our allies, Israel, to ensure that Iran not have the ability to do what it was attempting to do today. It is in American interest to make sure that we take seriously the threat Iran that it poses not only to our interests, to our personnel, and into stability in that region, both Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. And we will be unwavering. I will be unwavering in my commitment to.
All right, this is the weird thing about this, and check me if I'm tripping, but yo, did we just automatically forgot about the Palestinians? Did we automatically forgot about their constant bombing and bombing of Gaza? Are we just turning our attention to Iran now? Like, it is a bit weird. Like, hold on. Because this all stems from them, attacking Gaza. They're not just, Iran and Hezbollah is not just doing this unprovoked. They're doing this because of what's going on in Palestine. So how about we solve that first, and then we can go ahead and fix everything else? Because if you're just trying to go ahead and take on Iran without taking care of the root problem, then Iran and Hezbollah is always going to be on BS with us.
Israel's ability to defend itself and to take seriously the need to deal with Iran in terms of the threat that it poses to U.S. interests, to our allies, and to stability in the region.
So you don't foresee the need for American forces to get into combat?
No, absolutely not.
Let me turn to another issue that's nationwide, everybody's thinking about, and that's in a couple hours. There's going to be a debate involving your vice presidential running mate, and you've got some experience with vice presidential debates. What have you recommended to Governor Walz in this debate?
I've just asked him to be himself. I hope that your viewers get a chance to know Tim Walz if you don't already. Tim Walz was a teacher, a football coach. He is a governor of a state that is actually reported to be the 6th best in the country for doing business. Mm-hmm. And he's just a good guy. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a community member. He served in the National Guard. And I think that your viewers, if you watch the debate, what you're going to see is a real contrast between two individuals. And I think what you're going to see in Tim Walz is the guy on the stage who really has your best interest in mind and has a sense of what you're going through and a desire to help you. And that's
so they expected J.D. Vance to act like a preppy rich boy, forgetting his rag from riches background. And they would just expect him to be a narcissist. And they expected J.D. Vance to come out like Trump, how they envisioned Trump is. And he didn't. He came down a very down-to-earth person. And but they also had a civil debate. And J.D. came out on top. Obviously through body language and articulating himself way better than, Walz did. And once again, I ain't gonna lie, stopping the 3v1 they were trying to pull on him.
One of the things that I think is the strength of Tim Walz and why he's going to do really well tonight.
Well, Madam Vice President, I don't have to tell you how important natural gas is to this region. It's how we heat our homes and our factories in this region. It's very plentiful and cheaper than oil. And we extract natural gas through fracking. So I wanted to ask you, there's a political ad on TV from a 2019 Climate Hall town meeting that you had, in which you basically said, quote, "There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking," unquote.
Oh.
The ad claims that if you're elected president, you will ban fracking and you will cost Pennsylvania over 300,000 jobs. Have you changed your view on fracking? And if so, why?
So let me start by saying that ad, as you described it, is absolutely a mischaracterization that I think is intended to make people afraid of my presidency.
Woman, just say you changed your mind. That's it. Like, you don't even gotta lie about this. Just say you changed your mind. Just say, you know, I looked into it and yeah, Trump was kind of right. Yeah, we do need a frack. Just say that. Like, there's nothing wrong with giving bro props, or just say, you know what, I looked into fracking and yeah, we need to do it. But you over here trying to backtrack like you wasn't sitting up there, hand in the air, going like ban fracking. Nah. Come on now, don't do that.
Let me be absolutely clear, as I've been when I said it back in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, I cast the tie-breaking vote to open up more fracking leases. And my perspective on this is grounded in a number of things, including that we don't have to ban fracking to do the work that we can do to also invest in a clean energy economy.
And we have been gaslit. The word of the day is gaslit. Man, gaslighting like a muff. Boy, ain't no way.
So that's where I stand,
Kamala.
period.
Okay.
As President of the United States, I will not ban fracking. I did not as Vice President of the United States. And frankly, I think some of those ads are misleading intentionally to suggest to folks that
they're not, bro. The ads are not misleading. You literally said that. You literally said that. All you have to save face, it's not even hard. Her just lying about it is even worse. It's not hard. Just say, yeah, I changed my mind. Like, hey, I looked into it. Great idea. Done.
they should be afraid, because on the other side, what you've got in my opponent is somebody who could and has not really done much about lifting up the middle class. My perspective on this issue is that I'm going to bring jobs back to rural communities. I'm going to make sure that we invest in those communities that have done the kind of work that you have in mind when we talk about Pittsburgh, when we talk about the greater aspect of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to keep doing that work.
Let me move to another issue that's important to Pittsburgh.
You gonna lie to us like that,
Both
Kamala?
you and former President Trump have made it quite clear that under your presidencies, a foreign steel
You can see it on her damn face that she lied. I mean, what is going on here?
company like Japan's Nippon Steel will not be allowed to purchase U.S. steel. But U.S. Steel tells us that if you block the sale and stop the promised investment from Nippon, it may shut down the blast furnaces in our area and even move its headquarters from Pittsburgh. So how will you block Nippon but keep our steel jobs right here?
So let me tell you where I'm coming from. I feel very...
I just can't, bro. I just can't. I can't, Kamala. You know what? I got to. I gotta sit here and expose this young lady. She's not about to sit here and just lie. I just can't do it. I just can't. Like, no. That's not the Kamala I remember, okay? I remember a different Kamala. I want this Kamala. I want the honest
There's
Kamala.
no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Yes, that's what I want.
There's
yes.
no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Yeah, say it again
There's
for me.
no question.
Say
There's
it
no
again
question
for
I'm
me.
in favor of banning fracking. So yes.
That's sweet truth. That's sweet truth. I don't know who this young lady is, but this is the Kamala from 4 years ago. This is who we want to see. This is what we want to see. That lion. Oh my God, the truth.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes, and And starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. Yeah, so thank you.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes, and I've, again, worked on that.
Yep.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Okay, so now we got that down. Great. We got that down. She lied, right? Great. Let's go back to the video. A lot of news.
As President of the United States, I will not ban fracking. I did not as Vice President of the United States. And frankly, I think some of those ads are misleading intentionally to suggest to folks that they should be afraid, because on the other side, what you've got in my opponent is somebody who could and has not really done much about lifting up the middle class. My perspective on this issue is that I'm going to bring jobs back to rural communities. I'm going to make sure that we invest in those communities that have done the kind of work that you have in mind when we talk about Pittsburgh, when we talk about the greater aspect of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to keep doing that work.
Let me move to another issue that's important to Pittsburgh. Both you and former President Trump have made it quite clear that under your presidencies, a foreign steel company like Japan's Nippon Steel will not be allowed to purchase U.S. steel. But U.S. Steel tells us that if you block the sale and stop the promised investment from Nippon, it may shut down the blast furnaces in our area and even move its headquarters from Pittsburgh. So how will you block Nippon but keep our steel jobs right here?
So let me tell you where I'm coming from.
Please.
I feel very strongly that U.S. Steel needs to remain a U.S. company and that the people working there need to be American workers. And I think that is also why I am proud and I do have the support of the Steelworkers Union, because I just think that when you think about it in terms of a historic American industry, not to mention what it means for the workforce and the economy of Pittsburgh, of Pennsylvania, but also from a national security perspective, it is important that we have U.S. manufacturing of U.S. steel. And listen, I've been vice president now for 4 years. I've traveled around the world. I start my day every day being briefed on hotspots around the world and threats to our national security. When I think about the importance of supporting U.S. workers and U.S. steel, it is through the lens of not only what we should do to protect that workforce, but what we should do to protect U.S. and American interests.
But if you block this foreign acquisition, how can you guarantee that there will be support? Will it come from the federal government to make sure that these furnaces stay open and the jobs are kept here in Pittsburgh?
It is my priority to keep the jobs in Pittsburgh, understanding again that the folks who are doing that work are doing hard work, good work. It is part of not only a tradition of American industry to do that work, but it is part of what we need to invest in the future.
Two more quick questions, Madam Vice President. Former President Trump says that you've had 4 years as vice president to do all the things you've promised in the campaign, but haven't done it. Is he right, or did President Biden not give you or limit it in some way your role as vice president?
So let's start with this. I think that the former president is really becoming quite desperate. And has really been offering a lot of misstatements and misinformation. And perhaps it's because he wants to distract from the fact that he has offered no plan for the American people. I have talked about this before. I invite you to go to his rallies. And what you'll hear about full time is him talking about himself.
And what does that have to do with, your 4 years or your 3.5 years in office with nothing achieved? But everything failed. Like, I just want to know, what does that have to do with that? Like, what does his crowd sizes have to do with your failure as, vice president? Or if you don't want to take that away from her being her failure as vice president in the Biden administration,
and misinformation, and perhaps it's because he wants to distract from the fact that he has offered no plan for the American people. I have talked about this before. I invite you to go to his rallies, and what you'll hear about full time is him talking about himself and his personal grievances, but what you won't hear him talking about is you and the needs that you have as a working person, as a family person.
I mean, well, you know, those needs on he addressed it. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That's addressing almost every worker. Actually, you're addressing almost every worker in America. So, what you talking about? Man, I promise. This is why they never really give her a hardball. He's giving her hardball questions, but not giving her a hardball interview. Like, y'all kind of see how she's getting off a little bit. It's like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem like she got a hardball interview, but a hardball interview involves doubling down. Like, well, you didn't really answer my question. What are you talking about? Trump? You bashing Trump? All right, cool, cute. But what about these 3.5 years, though?
Talking about is you and the needs that you have as a working person, as a family person. My plan is about building an opportunity economy where I'm going to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can get their foot in their door to be able to be a homeowner. My plan is about $6,000 tax deduction for middle-class families for the first year of their child's life to help them buy a crib or a car seat. My plan is about getting a $50,000 tax.
And shout out droning in the scenery, man. Projector machine with shit film. Nah, for real, though. Because I'm just wondering, like, hold on. How is she able just to evade the question through Trump slander? That's the problem with TDS. Is like the problem with TDS and y'all with the Trump derangement syndrome is that as long as they bash Trump, it don't matter what question was asked. You felt like the question was answered as long as she bashed Trump. She didn't even have to address the question. Just, no, let me just throw a little bit of Trump bashing in there and everybody will think I answered it.
Tax deduction to startup businesses, to our small businesses, knowing that they are part of the backbone of America's economy. Those are my plans. And I think that, unfortunately, what we've got on the other side is someone who wants to distract from the fact that his plan is about giving billionaires and big corporations a tax break like he did the last time and doing that again.
But you would acknowledge that as vice president, you can't do the things that you can do as president.
Well, absolutely. There's only one president of the United States. But I have been very excited to spend time in Pittsburgh and in Pennsylvania. I was just in Pittsburgh actually talking about my economic plan, but to spend time in Pittsburgh and in the rest of the state talking with folks about what I intend to do as president. And I am so honored and humbled to have received a lot of the support from the folks in that beautiful city of Pittsburgh and around the state, because I believe that what I'm talking about in terms of lifting up American workers and American families is something people want to know that their president will do.
Well, Madam Vice President.
And shout out, it's 97, man, for the $20 super chat. We appreciate the support. And it's your first time super chat on live stream, bro. You honor us with that, man. Honor us. Appreciate that, man.
We're always happy to have you in Pittsburgh. I've got a couple more questions, but let's hold it because I'd love to get together with you in person rather than through this internet system. Can we do it?
I'm done droning in the scenery. Shit is the only thing that's black. God damn. And in space.
Try and do that. I would like that.
Great to be with you.
Like that. And I'll be.
I bet you would, Kamala. I bet you would. All right, let's get to it.
Let that be the last word of presidential debates of this season and of your.
Kellyanne Conway believes Trump should debate Harris again. Play this clip, Rob.
But I know you, and I just believe when you see the end, are you going to let that be the last word of presidential debates of this season and of your career, or are you going to want one more?
So I'd rather debate. I'd rather have another one. The problem is we're so far down the line. And also, I had a 3-on-1 debate last time. So I debated and I must say, CNN was very fair. And then I had the other debate, and ABC was totally crooked.
You know what's crazy? I feel like CNN would have gave him the same interview if Biden was low-key, able to debate. It's like, how are you going to fact check Trump when we can barely understand Biden? it's kind of funny.
Why not have another?
Because they
It's your
agreed
batting
that
average.
they weren't going to do. No, but here's the thing, and I like debating, and I thought I did a great job. I thought that was one of my best debates, but it gets spun and spun. It's so crooked. I thought it was one of my best debates. And they said I'm the GOAT of debates. I think I've done really well in debates, okay?
People are saying I'm the GOAT.
GOAT of all debates. I mean, the confidence. You gotta love Trump's confidence. Like, I'm the GOAT of all debates, man. And shout out to all the supporters, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all been showing out, man.
It's true.
But what happened is ABC totally violated their agreement, and this guy, was debating me.
But why let that be the last word then?
Because number one, we're winning. Number two, it's very late in the process. The people are voting already. I would like to do another debate.
Rob, it's the same one,
I'd like to
right?
do more than one debate.
Yeah, it's
the problem is it's late. They turned down the Fox debate.
Okay, hang on, yeah.
And don't forget, I had two debates. I had to beat
You did?
Biden.
That one was early.
And then I had to beat her. And the one with her was very late, too. And then we had a fake news organization, terrible, ABC. The worst of all is ABC. I've always said it. That's why they wanted ABC, because they had to deal with ABC. But I said, I don't care if they do, because it doesn't matter. Hey, look, I took on three people, and a lot of people say, I think I won the debate.
I think the expectations for Harris were so low.
Like, dog, you won the debate just because everybody saw it was a 3v1. I mean, yeah, she got under your skin and all that good stuff, but he explained his policies and it was cool. The cats and the dogs had everybody laughing. But at the end of the day, yeah, he won the debate just because it was a 3v1. It's like, I'm gonna be real with you. Yeah, they needed to hold Harris' hand. The moderators had to, bro, there wasn't supposed to be no fact checking. The moderators step in, doing all types of stuff. One old dude going like, oh, well, that didn't seem like sarcasm to me. Like, bro, are you a moderator or are you one of the people who are debating? Like, what's going on?
Because everybody sees her in interviews. But I just want to say that
But she wasn't great.
She's one
She
for
was
one.
terrible.
You've had 7 of these debates, and I feel like you're Shohei Ohtani. I feel like you can pitch, you can bat, and people just want to hear. I think that last 5% that is decisive but elusive right now.
Be right
Maybe
back,
wants
chat.
to
Be
see
right
the
back.
two of you together. Look, some people say she brought her
this.
best game. I think she brought her only game.
Part of the problem is this. CNN wants to do the debate, and
But forget that,
CNN was
you've done
very
one.
fair, and they got killed because they were fair. And Biden was out of the race because of that. If we didn't have that debate, he'd be running now instead of her. And honestly, I think he was actually better than her, which is a pretty bad thing to say, but he's better than her.
He wasn't.
But CNN will go out of their way. They'll do what ABC did, where they'll have 3-on-1 or 5-on-1 or whatever it is. So I don't think you can get a fair shake.
You can
But
possibly.
even if you didn't,
He's right.
I
Tom,
would love
should he do another debate?
There's no need to do another debate. No.
Vinny.
Absolutely not. Nope. Why? He made a good point. At this
Rob.
point, he's starting to surge.
I'd love to see one.
Should he do one? There's a difference between you'd love to see it. I'd love to see a Titanic. That was a good movie, but you can't do part 2. I'd love to see what do you call it? Notebook 2. I'd love to see a lot of movies part 2. But do you think he should do part 2?
No, he made his point. The early voting already started.
And Pat, you know what? Before you get
And all right, and let's go ahead and hear from part of the Justice League. Because like I said, Trump he got RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek. Man, who else has he got? He got Elon Musk. I mean, bro got the dream team. He got the dream team right now.
To make
The
America
conservative
healthy
dream team.
again would on the surface seem like a simple one, a matter of nutrition, a matter of observing simple facts and living by very basic principles. But already the answers that you have given afford us an insight to the levels of corruption that exist within the institutions that primarily, it seems, curate and control existing interests and prohibit the kind of change that both of you are alluding to and outlining. The 2016 version of Donald Trump definitely, it seems to me as an outsider, benefited from a kind of fatigue, weariness and anger at corruption and centralized power. Now we find ourselves in 2024 with...
Actually, there is something I do want to show y'all first. So quick pause. I do want to show y'all this first because this I mean, it was just funny, okay? It's just funny. I mean, bro,
And it's randomly an Arab
can you
guy
imagine, right?
who are rock.
Can you imagine if you just had a failed show and Donald Trump just hit you with something crazy, right?
Writing love letters. I'm curious. I'm going to ask you. Be honest. Maybe we should ask your wife. How good are you at writing love letters?
This is going to be funny.
Jen, how good am I at writing love letters, right? Babe, tell me if I write love letters as good as this man writes love letters. Watch
so
this.
sweet.
Imagine you get a letter October 18th, which is the greatest day of the year because it's my
Amazing
birthday,
day.
right?
Oh, yeah, and before I go ahead and do that, shout out Cheerful Satanist. Well, Cheerful Satanist. Shout out to her. It's her first super chat. First super chat on the live. We appreciate that honor.
Right? So if I write love letters as good as this man writes love letters. Watch
so
this.
sweet.
Imagine you get a letter October 18th, which is the greatest day of the year because it's my birthday, right? So on that day, October 18th, 2004, okay, Trump writes a letter to Mark Cuban. Dear Mark, can you zoom in a little bit more, Rob? I am truly sorry to hear that your show has been canceled for lack of rating. When I initially called you to congratulate you on the benefactor, little did you or I realize how disastrous and embarrassing it would turn out to be.
Bro.
If you ever decide to do another show, please call me and I will be happy to lend a helping hand.
And this is why Mark Cuban hates Trump. Now you know why. This is why right here. Because Trump grilled his ass. I mean,
Cancel for lack of rating. When I initially called you to congratulate you on the benefactor, little did you or I realize how disastrous and embarrassing it would turn out to be. If you ever decide to do another show, please call me and I will be happy to lend a helping hand. Now we know why he hates him.
Now.
It is out. Everybody now knows. But by the way, next time you brag about how good you are at writing love letters, this is the standard, right? This is the standard on how you write it.
How funny is that?
Do you think he was actually? Do you think he was poking him?
Adam,
Do you think he was poking him?
Yeah.
Do you think he knew? He's
a
like, I'm
competitor.
sorry you're a loser, but thank you. I love you. Like you saw what he did with. Like I feel like this is part of Trump, by the way.
Wait, what kind of photo is that?
the benefactor. Like, bro, did anybody even hear the benefactor? That's what I'm saying. When I first seen this, I was like, bro, the benefactor. I never heard of that.
One season and six episodes,
not 13.
Wow.
and then got
One
shut down.
season?
They normally shoot 13, Pat.
No, by the way, do you want to know who carries the weight in Shark Tank? It's Kevin O'Leary.
Oh,
You
wow.
take Kevin O'Leary out, that show is gone. It's not even the same.
Mark Cuban doesn't have
Yeah.
it.
No,
you know what I
he-
mean? He doesn't have it.
Cuban is not going to be the lead on a show.
Rob, can you pull up the clip I sent you with Trump on Larry King like 30 years ago? Have you seen this?
No.
He goes on Larry King, and look how he starts it within the first 5 seconds. Pause it. Go, because it's a 7-second clip. Watch this. Go ahead.
Do you mind if I sit back a little bit? Because your breath is very bad. It really is. Has this ever been told to you before? No.
I mean, yo, bro.
7-second clip. Watch this. Go ahead.
Do you mind if I sit back a little bit? Because your breath is very bad. It really is. Has this ever been told to you before? No. Do you mind if I...
So apparently before this clip though, just to give us some context, he's telling him
You're disgusting.
when you negotiate. He goes, no, Adam, I think it's when you negotiate with people. He goes, how do you get the upper hand? He goes, you want to like act it out, and this was like an act. Jump goes, okay, I'll show you how I would do. Like, can you back up? Because that diffuses the person.
Oh, he
if
didn't
the
really-
person
he
thinks
didn't
they're
really
here,
say that?
Pat, then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, they get less confident. I mean, dude, he's a freaking boss, man. He's a master negotiator.
Listen, I'm so happy to be
By the
here. Your
way,
breath is disgusting. But
either-
you look great.
Either you are this or you're not.
Yep.
You can't act this. Either you are this or you're not. You cannot act any of this. Go back to the Cuban thing. When we were talking about Cuban, we were talking about somebody that's good on TV. Rob,
Now let's get to
we'll
this.
be ready.
77.
He's the head of the dock workers union, is threatening to cripple the U.S.
Now let's get ready to hear some mafia activity.
economy. But watch how he speaks, like a loving, caring,
wholesome.
I just want you to watch this guy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Cripple you, and you have no idea
I will cripple you.
what that means. When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port, a lockdown. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. I will cripple you.
Okay. By the way,
okay,
he's not lying. They have a very, very important job. Okay. Now, he's talking about the kind of money they make. Rob, can you pull up his house? Okay, look up his name and go pull up his house. Yeah. Go pull up his house.
Don't dox him, though.
Type in house. Okay, go to this is his house. Zoom in.
7,000.
Yeah, but you have to see his house.
I mean,
the guy
Depends
that,
on where he lives, though.
no, keep going. That's his. That's an. Keep,
The garage. That's just a 4-car
see if
garage.
that's the picture that shows the house.
Oh my God,
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
dude.
Damn.
Keep going.
Where's that? Connecticut? Where's he at?
I mean,
East Coast?
Regardless,
Oh, yeah,
it's a
see,
nice house. He's
I
got a
mean,
nice
Forest.
place. Zoom in. Let's just see what the house looks like.
Bruh.
Okay. So this is going back to a Bentley convertible. I mean, that's a 5-car garage, outdoor sauna, brick pizza oven.
Leader of a union, bro. Why my man look like he got buffs on? He got the Cartier lens on. Whoa, this is a union leader. Oh, bro. What? Bro got Cartier lens.
You know, these rich people, right? You got to be careful with these rich people, right? But
And
no,
he
the point is
fresh
this.
too in it. I ain't
This
gonna
is a
lie.
guy that's a union boss who
He a
knows
boss.
he has the leverage right now. He knows he's going to bring the pain right now, and he's asking for a 77% raise for his guys to match what's
Mansion, drop top convertible, Cartier lens. Man, that is hilarious.
asking for a 77% raise.
He wants a raise
for his guys to match what's being made on the West Coast. The same guys apparently are making 116 on the West Coast. They're claiming they're making average 81, and he wants them to get a 77% raise, which will put him at 143 to match what West Coast is getting. It's a 43% raise. He's making his demands, and his argument is during COVID, you guys made a lot of money while COVID was taking place, and we didn't see any of it, and want to get some of it. But the way he's
Fair.
going about doing it, this is where union kind of gets in trouble, man. Tom.
And if you look around the world, you can just Google this. Don't do it right now, but Google
it a porn?
automated ports.
Porns?
Ports.
Oh,
Ports.
P-O-R-N-S.
No,
T-S.
ports.
Got it.
Ports. That porn something else.
Yeah.
And what you will find is these completely robotic, longshoremen are needed less because there's all this robotic stuff that is unloading ships.
Yeah.
And the number of people that are needed, and they put them onto self-driving trucks. And so we know we have self-driving trucks. So we got to be careful here. There is a...
And if you remember, there were some of these dock workers that was going like down with automation. Automation's taking our job. Yes, they have self-driving trucks. And it makes me fearful for my truck drivers because, we love them we love our truck drivers. Y'all hold down the logistics, but they're trying to take y'all out the game for some reason without compensation. It's crazy.
certain candidate who jumped all over $20 minimum wage in New York City, and it accelerated the entire fast food industry, putting kiosks in. And they went to one of the vendors that helped Southwest. Remember Southwest, Burbank Airport? It was like one of the first kiosks. Remember that? And we assume that you went up to that kiosk because, well, it's a low-cost airline, so they're doing this.
Yo.
But guess what?
Yeah,
Look at this. This is an automated port. So you want to be really careful about this. I believe
Everything
longshoremen
robot.
should get fair pay for the work they do. It's
Yo.
hazardous and things like this. But you got to be careful pushing people too far. Otherwise, kids lose jobs at McDonald's to kiosks, and this happens.
Well, this is.
I mean, this new generation of kids, man, ain't the best workers. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, it's like my generation or the last generation of kids that were like decent workers that actually wanted to do hard work. These kids just want like handouts, bro. They want to work their 40 hours, but get paid like they work 60.
It's coming no matter what, Tom. This is coming no matter what. And this is their number one fear because they're worried 15 to 30% of their job's going to be replaced by this.
Yeah.
That's what their biggest fear is.
And this
The fact
exists.
that- and this
Oh,
not only
God,
exists, it's just
damn.
getting
Oh,
better
God.
and better and better and better and better.
But Pat, like when it comes to the union situation, it's like we're letting one person have that much power where he could shut this down because the snowball effect of this, Tom, be honest, if they shut down for a month, because I already saw people at Costco, they're buying toilet paper, they're buying paper towels. It's in the line at Costco right now across the country are insane. How bad letting one guy have this much power, and I get it, money
This is the way it works. I mean, this is a CEO. How can Tim Cook have this much power? How could Jimmy Hoffa over the Teamsters have this much power? This is the way it goes. And if you don't have, you need to have a leash on leadership. Leadership needs to be strong. It needs to be clear. It needs to be transparent. And if you go over the edge.
I'm done droning in the scenery. Computers don't take vacations, and you don't gotta, and they never call off sick. The worst thing a computer can do is you gotta call in for maintenance, and that's it. I'm like, that's good. That's a good point. Good point. That's where everybody got afraid with AI, because I remember even Billy Carson and Joe Rogan was talking about it. Like, bro, we made AI like automated everything. We'd have to find a way to supplicate everybody in the USA for lack of jobs. We just can't leave these people jobless, or gonna come for the heads of the AI executives. So there would have to be some way to, like, well, we'd have to honestly start giving out handouts. Sadly, yeah. And if the AI economy is booming, then yeah, some of it gonna have to be passed down to the people. Bro, they was saying some ridiculous stuff, like $90 billion a year to make sure every American's making like $200K if AI was to take over, of course.
You can find yourself at a company with an out-of-control CEO and you lose your job because he's a knucklehead. Or you could be in a union